Here in Demo 4, we're going to take a look at just formatting the text. Whenever you format text, you want to select the text that you're going to format. So let's grab this first title here. Now, again, the black arrow out on the front will grab that line of text. And I can do several things with this. I can go up to the font group under the Home tab and just pick a font that I want. And notice you have, in some of these, you have some variety. The variety is basically, do you want it bold? You can immediately put it into a bold context. Arial black, and then the list goes on. Scroll on down. Let's just take this brush script MT, and it's obvious we're going to have to enlarge it. Different fonts are going to respond differently as far as size. Even though they're all 12, it's going to look a lot different. So let's take it up to say 28. Much nicer font. We can actually change the color of the font. One of the things you got to get used to is this new color palette. So if you don't know what a color is, for example, if you're asked to do accent 2 darker 25, there it is right there. Just wait, just hover over colors, and this whole row is darker 25. So whichever one we pick a darker 25, it'll be applied to that particular text. So we've selected the text. If I want to highlight the text, here are my highlighting colors. I can highlight the text, so I'm not going to put any kind of highlighting on the text at all. I can shadow the text or give it a special text effect. Now obviously this will override the color that I pick. For example, if I pick this bluish one, so that's an override. Another thing you can do is up here in the styles, you can pick different kinds of font styles that are already formatted for you, and they all have a name. So you can look at these particular ones. Notice this one here, the book title is all capitals, and you have what are called lowercase capitals here as opposed to strong. So there's a difference between that. So if you ever hear about lowercase all caps, that's what it's talking about. But it would also go into that particular font as well. So there's a lot of variety here. What do I want to do with that? I can align it, so I can center it above that particular one. If I don't particularly like the size, I can shrink it down a little bit. Another way of doing that is right here. You have an A, increase font size, decrease font size, so you can get an idea of different fonts. Change the case right here. Notice if I change the case, I can toggle the case, lowercase first letter, uppercase all the remaining letters. So I can toggle title case, all uppercase, all lowercase, sentence case, which is basically first letter of the sentence is capitalized. So we'll leave that alone for right now. Now I have nothing to strike out or superscript or subscript, but one of the other things you can do is bring up the font dialog box. Now you would think to bring up the font dialog box you would go to font, but no, that's just the font collection. Where you have to find it is under format, and so you have format font and you get the font dialog box, of which you may be familiar. Notice that the color is the one we picked, but we applied a style to it, so that overrides that color. So when you come in here, it's a little different. So you've got the same things you can do here. Superscript, strike through, double strike through would be a double line that would go through it and such. So we're going to cancel that out. And I particularly like that particular font and the way it's set up. So now what I want to do is copy that style, that look, to all the other titles. So what I have up here to do that is the Format Painter. And so this copies the format, not the words, just the format. So with that, those words selected as they are, all I have to do is click on the Format Painter and just put my arrow in front of the Drift Creek covered bridge, and notice it's automatically copied that. Now I lost my Format Painter. I got a lot more to do. If I double click on it, it's going to stay in a Format Painter mode. Notice the Format Painter stayed. Continue on down because I have a lot of them I want to do. So there we go. We can just go all the way down. It's the one that I had copied and pasted, or cut and pasted down to the bottom of the page. Now that all of those are done, I just have to click the Format Painter again, and it has stopped doing that for me. Another thing you can do in this particular area is do what's called a drop cap. So I can take the first letter of each paragraph about the bridge and do a drop cap. So all you have to do really to apply a drop cap is to click on the paragraph you want your drop cap to be applied to. You don't have to select the first letter. It'll be automatically applied. And under Format, you will find drop cap. And it's a matter of, do I want a dropped? In other words, the words will wrap around the letter or the first letter, or do I want the letter to be standing out in the margins? So, and I can change the font of my drop to be different than what the other letters are in the paragraph. So let's just leave it at this for right now. I'm going to pick dropped, and I can keep that font. I'll keep the Cambria font and hit OK, and notice the letter T now is dropped. Notice the box around the letter T. That means it's now completely separate from the rest of the letters. It's almost like it's a graphics from the rest of the letters. If you want to undo that right away, you just hit the undo button. Or later on you decide, no, that's not really what I want. So you can hit the Format button, go back to drop cap, and just say none, and apply it, and it'll go back to what it was normally. So also you can apply this drop cap. Let's go back and do the drop cap. Well, let's undo that so the drop cap's there. Will the Format Painter work for drop cap? So let's click on Format Painter, go down to the next paragraph, click, and it didn't work. Okay, notice that is not something that's going to work on that issue. So the drop cap is something you have to apply in each particular case. Drop cap, dropped, OK. Now I can go down and apply that drop cap to each situation. Here's what it would look like if I did the margins. So it sits out in the margin of my text. I didn't want to do that, and I want to apply the typical drop cap, which is the embedded drop cap in the paragraph. I would do it as such. Drop caps add a nice little look, particularly if you're doing a theme paper or something. It adds something special to that. So we've looked at formatting text, putting color on the text, adding the style there to the text, as well as looking at the font dialog box that you can find under Format menu, changing the character case, so it can be a variety of different cases, copying and pasting that text formatting by using the Format Painter, looking at drop caps